Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new F1 22 Esports video. This is round 11 of the 2022 F1 Esports World Championship. And we are in Q1 Brazil right now. As you can see here, the standings, we are 34 points behind. And mathematically, we're still in it. So, as always, we're still gonna fully fight for it. However, realistically, we're not in it. So, 34 points behind usually is too much to make up for, because we're basically asking for like 2 did not finishes from Lucas, and we have to win both races, or win and 1 second place. So yeah, we just need to try and keep pushing. That's all we can do. But realistically, we're out of it. Still gonna keep pushing though, like always. Constructors wise, we're still fighting Red Bull as well. So we are trying and aiming for that now. We've kind of put the Drivers' Championships hopes on the side, and we're just gonna try and get as many points for the team as possible, you know. That's the aim here, as we're rounding over our first Q1 lap here. Sorry there's no sound, as in some of the other videos. I'm not the one that sorts the recordings, and the output device was just set wrong. So that's why there's no sound. I can't do anything while editing it anymore. I can maybe put some F1 2004 Ferrari sound under it, but that's a lot of effort for a 20-minute video, and I don't think I have the facilities for that, to be honest. Anyway, second lap in Q1 here. We're currently P9, so we have to improve definitely on the second run, and through turn 1, 2, 3, we have managed to gain 600, so a very good start of the lap so far. Honestly, balance-wise, car felt alright, you know? It gave me confidence at least. I think performance-wise we're lacking a little bit, looking at practice times. But I feel like confidence is much more important in these actual qualifying sessions. Especially Q1, Q2, you just need to have full confidence, because you can just push that little harder, you know. That's so crucial in Q1 when the grip is so low. You need to have confidence in the car. Final sector coming up now. Half a tent up on Overclockers going into the final split. Onto the throttle, we lost like 200-300s, because the corner was not great. However, 110 improvement around Brazil is quite big, because the gaps are going to be so small. And as you can see, going up to the line here, it is P2. So yeah, we're definitely through into Q2 here. I think that Q1 lap was actually the best I've done, like, of all time. Like, that was my personal best Q1 run. And yeah, I just felt good, to be honest. We don't have the pace for P4, but we are P4. So you can see the gaps are so small. Once again, P2 to P14 within a tenth. It's just absolutely nothing. Whole field covered in 2.4 tenths. It's crazy. On to Q2 now then. We have set a lap on a used set of tires already. Once again, we're going to try and make it into Q3 on a single set of tires. However, that's easier said than done, because usually you need to do that in Q1, because, you know, it's easier to get in the top 15 than the top 10. Q2, however, you can see once again a very good turn 1, 2, 3, 700s up, on a new set of tires, of course. And into sector 2 we go, 1.3 tenths up on Lucas Blakely. I think that lap is also on used tires from him, so not really representative, but we are pulling it together quite nicely here so far. Through the long right-hander, I always have so much understeer in that right-hander, really annoying. And the same in the slow right and left-handers. Just always got so much understeer. Also in the braking for this right-hander understeer, and sometimes it snaps aggressively to oversteer. Not this time around though, we're nailing it pretty nicely. Into the final sector we go. 3.8 tenths up on Overclockers on his lap, which is probably set on a used set of tires. However, it's just been a nice and tidy lap. I need this more often, because I think in short quali we were like 2 tenths off the pace. My PB is a 106.7 flat, like a 7.0, 7.1. And as you can see there, Q2 grip is not great. And we've managed to go P1. Surprisingly, it's just been a very nice lap. Thomas Rona goes 600s faster than us. But yeah, Nicolas Longuet 300s faster, and Nicolas has got pole like the past 3 years around here. So this is his track. This is like his best track. So if we can get anywhere near him, that's just always very solid. However, I decided to go out again, I didn't feel fully comfortable because even though I knew it was a good lap, in the back of my mind I had this feeling like we are too slow. And honestly, you can see to the drop zone in the end, we only went 300s to P10. So that's why I went out again. And, you know, I had to use an extra set of tires, but I felt like I just needed to. So it is what it is. Now we only get one new set of tires for Q3. And we're going to try and get up there, you know. Realistically, we're not fighting for pole here. Knowing, I more or less knew what others were doing. Lap time was also from free practice. Turn 1, you can see 700s up. We're not probably fighting for pole. However, if we can just get top 5, you know, then we're fighting for the win. And that's all we need. Into the second sector we go. 600s up on Lucas Blakely. And 600s up on our own lap. Again, turn 4, big improvement, half a tenth gain. As we go into this middle section, this kind of Mickey Mouse section, a lot of understeer in that long right-hander. That probably cost us around half a tenth. Same for this next right-hander. So much understeer. And it just seems like the balance that we had in Q2 is just not there. I've got so much more understeer once again. As I got good rotation through that right-hander, but we lost so much time in those two right-handers that ruined our lap a little bit, to be honest. 1.1 tenths up on Sebastian Job going into the final sector. Big snap of oversteer in the final corner. It's not a good lap. It's just not been a good lap. There's a lot more in there, at least 1.5 tenths coming across the line. It is gonna be a 106.832, and that's a shame, to be honest. 800 down on Nicolas Longue. We're in P8. Jake is still on a lap. He's the only one left on a lap. But yeah, just this kind of sums up right here. Even if I had done a PB, I would have been P5 or P6. So yeah, just too slow. Lap was bad, to be honest. I think I could have done a 7.0, maybe even a high 6. I don't know what was up this qualifying session, but I was flying, even with all those mistakes. I think we lost like 1.5 tenths with all those mistakes. It is what it is, you know. Starting P9. On the intermediates, once again, a wet race. And even though I love wet races, it's just so hard to overtake in wet races. And I think one of the reasons is that there's no DRS. Simple as that. But yeah, I think even if you got a really big pace advantage, it's still so hard to overtake in a wet. In real life, it's not like that. If anything, it's easier to overtake because of all the different lines we're taking. Anyway, into the race we go. Intermediate conditions. It's going to be fire red light from P9 on the grid. And away we go. Once again, I'm getting such poor starts. And I don't know why. Anyway, we've managed to keep all our positions, though. Around the outside of a teammate into turn 1-2. We managed to keep our position nonetheless. Jake gets a big snap of oversteer. And I just went to the outside because I thought he was going to spin there. That was just a bit of precaution. If he did spin, that he wasn't going to take us with him into turn 4 we go. Jake trying to go around the outside. We managed to keep the position. We gave Sebastian just enough room on the outside there. It was just not enough grip. And into the middle section we go. Still P9. I'm trying to defend from Patrick Siepels here. I'm not trying to attack our teammate just yet. We're just going to sit behind and let him try and do all the work. I don't want to lose ourselves time. We're still fighting Red Bull in the championship, as I said. So trying to gain as much points for the team as possible here, as our own championship is in the mud. The team helped me very well, as you can see in Suzuka as well. So now it's my time to return that favor and help a little bit, you know. Could have maybe gone for a little move in the middle sector on Jake. But yeah, it would just both of us cost time and not any points gained for the team. Past few laps I was just saving tires a little bit because you never really know how long it's going to stay wet, and I didn't really see the point in pushing. So last lap I pushed for the first time in a while as it was starting to dry, because see, it has pretty much stopped raining, and yeah, so we can basically push these tires fully until it gets fully dry. So lap 14 now. Again, nothing has happened. As I said, these wet races are just so hard to overtake. I think it's, if anything, not possible, as Jake has a massive slide again. He is struggling a little bit now. It's drying up. I'm not sure exactly why, but he's going to let us go here because We clearly had more pace in these past few laps, and we don't want to hurt each other. That's why I'm using the overtake button here a little bit, so we can swap around. The alphas are doing the same. And now it's my time to try and close that gap on the alphas, put some pressure on them. And then once it dries up, we can finally maybe start making some moves, because this race has been incredibly boring to drive. These are obviously the highlights, but driving it was complete torture. Lap 15 now, we're going to dive into the box, as it is a little bit too early, I felt like, but one of us has to box here, because if we wait too long, then one of us, like me or Jake, are going to have to box on a non-ideal time. And then it's going to cost one of us a lot of lap time. So it's better to make a slight compromise, so we can both box on decent laps. However, tire warm-up is going to be tough now. We've gone on to the mediums, because if we went hard, the tire warm-up would have been a complete nightmare. The mediums can make it from here. Not comfortably, as Simon Wygan sets the fastest lap of the race. He boxed very early. And that's why he set a fast lap of the race. But we are going to be losing time on this first lap, because our tires are not up to temperature. Simon only went 7 tenths faster, 6 tenths faster than the intermediate runners. And we are going to lose like 2 seconds with warm-up compared to him probably. But he has gone through that phase already, so that's why he's so far behind and hasn't gained much. And you can see tires are slowly getting up to temperature, but not as fast as usual, of course, because the track is still half wet, half dry. But it's definitely the right moment to box, and this is what I was talking about. Now, Barry set the fast lap of the race on the inters, and now he has to do an extra lap on the inters that are going to be overheating massively. Brazil, of course, doesn't have high-speed corners, so maybe he will be alright. But it's not ideal, of course. So he's definitely going to be losing time, having to do that extra lap. And that's why we boxed that lap earlier. I am pushing really hard with the ERS to try and minimize the damage we had from the tire warm-up. And we've done a good lap, I feel like, on these cold tires. We've managed to stick with Danny Bresnay. You can see there our teammate Jake Benham coming out right ahead of us. He's once again going to let us by. He was 2 tenths ahead. Because if we get stuck behind in the middle sector when he has to go through the same pain we had with a tire warm-up, then we would be losing so much time. And then we would have lost DRS to Danny Bresnay, most likely. Because you can see in just a few corners time, Jake has already lost 6, 7 tenths. He was 2 tenths ahead, basically came out after letting us go 2 tenths behind. And he's lost already like 8, 9 tenths. And that's what I was talking about. The tire warm-up is such a nightmare in these conditions and costs you so much time. However, DRS is still not enabled actually, which is weird that it's taking so long. Because usually the DRS gets enabled on the crossover. But as you can see, no DRS just yet. We're just driving around without any DRS. As we were about to set a fast lap of the race. Danny Bresnay went a little bit faster though. So 2 alphas ahead of us. We're still fighting Nicolas Longuet for P5 in the championship as well. So we need to make sure that we don't lose a huge amount of points to him. And we also at the same time need to make sure that Jake gets back into the DRS once it gets activated. He's on 1.06. I'm using a little bit of my battery to be comfortably within the DRS of Danny Bresnay. However, once DRS is activated, will slow down like a 1 or 1.5 tenths so Jake can get back in, which he managed to do. You can see he's 6 tenths behind with 1.5 laps to go. We've skipped through like 20 laps in one go because absolutely nothing happened in those past laps. So we're sitting on an almost full battery, 1.5 lap to go, 85% battery remaining, and we're gonna use all of that coming out of this final corner and in the last lap of the race to try and pull an attack on Danny Bresnay, as he is right behind Thomas Ronnar. Then it's the Ferrari of Fabrizio Donoso, and then it's Nicolas Longuet in P4. We've turned on the overtake button and decided that it's time to go. 54% battery remaining. Thomas Ronnar had flashing, so that gives us hope that maybe we can get him as well. Jake is having a battle behind us with Sebastian Job. We are once again going to turn on the overtake button to make sure we stay close to Danny Bresnay, because he is flashing as well. So We still have a chance here. However, coming out of the final corner, it's like the last overtaking opportunity we have. And through the middle sector, the battery recharges a little bit. So this is not going to be an easy task. However, we're just going to save that battery until the last corner. That's what we're going to do. It's not really a place you can use ERS here anyway. We know the guys ahead are on low ERS, and we just need to make sure that we get close. I was struggling a little bit with traction here. I think with slightly more rear tire wear than Danny Bresnay ahead of us. You can see power. It's just, the tires are just not biting into the asphalt anymore. There's no rubber left on the tires. Final corner of the race. Can we still get P7 or P6 here? Thomas gets a big snap of oversteer. We're going to turn on the overtake button. Danny Bresnay head is flashing. We are gaining all the time with the help of the slipstream and the battery power. Can we get him across the line? No. We just come short by 8/100ths of a second. Shame that we did not make it. Probably the most boring race of my life. Honestly, this was a shit race. Not sure why. It's hard to overtake in the wet. It is pretty easy to drive in the wet on the current F1 game as well, so that doesn't help. Or at least the skill gap is not huge. Same for the dry, of course. And yeah, the tires just don't really drop off that much, so that doesn't help as well. But yeah, that was such a boring race, to be honest. Of course, the highlights made it look slightly more interesting, but the race lasted like 45 minutes, and we had like a battle with a teammate and a battle to the start-finish line. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the highlights. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Ciao.